What we have seen from witness B is that for the most part, her evidence has corroborated or been in harmony with the foundation laid by witness A fellow detective that was assigned to the murder of Armand Swart, that is the employee of Q-Tech, who was gunned down in a hail of 23 bullets in what was believed to be a mistaken hit in relation to a tender that Q-Tech had blown the whistle on in Transnet. Now, the evidence of witness A dealt with the search and operation takedown of the resident, or rather the alleged cartel member, that is Katiso Molefe. Now, in that particular search, which we understand was consented upon, was the office where you found a bunch of documents relating to this particular tender at Transnet. Now, it is in that context that we heard this name of Lucky Molefe, and then, of course, the son. But what we understand is that this particular Lucky Molefe, there was supposed to be an operation to arrest him alongside Katiso Molefe as well, but that didn't take place, which meant that all the team members had descended on the house or the residence of Katiso Molefe. But it is in that context where we were introduced to the role that Lucky Molefe allegedly played in the awarding of this tender. Where witness B comes in is that she gives more detail regarding how they traced those steps together. And where she differs is that witness A stated that all their evidence and CCTV footage had linked them to Katiso Molefe being the alleged mastermind behind this particular hit of Armand Swart on the 17th of April 2024. But when we get to witness B's evidence, she states that the person that would have allegedly ordered the hit is the nephew, that is Lucky Molefe, who we understand is now at large. But what we understand about this character is that this was a former employee of Transnet, and how this deal or this tender was flagged is that this particular bid involved the SK Group, whose documents were found in Katiso Molefe's house. Although he doesn't claim ownership of it and attributes it to his nephew and his son, it was inside his office during that operation takedown that was done by the intelligence wing, along with those PKTT members, and deals with the alleged interference that would have taken on subsequently. Now, what we're hearing about that particular tender is that it was allegedly manipulated, and that's where the name of Lucky Molefe comes up. And you see that there were two companies that were competing with SK Group that actually didn't exist. So the way in which the tender was awarded is what was flagged by Q-Tech, and we understand that when there were questions surrounding those particular documents, that is when the timeline flows to the then hit of Armand Swart, which we understand to be a mistaken hit. But questions continue to arise about the witness that is Lucky Molefe, who is now at large and cannot be found. And then, of course, how Lucky Molefe, if he's being the person that is placed at the forefront of this alleged manipulation of the tender, how he was able to achieve that on his own. Because we understand that with companies of this size and stature and scale, that something like a tender would follow a particular procurement and SCM process, which we expect would involve more than one individual that is Lucky Molefe, who is being identified before the commission. So questions arise as to how that process came about, that a tender was awarded to SK Group, and they were the only, I guess, legitimate quote-unquote company that was competing, because we're understanding that the two other bidders were companies that didn't exist. So there were so-called alleged fronts. So questions arise about that particular evidence relating to Armand Swart. And then, of course, what witness B has to finish off, that witness A has already testified on, is this alleged implication of the judiciary and other key role players in the criminal justice system with respect to the bail processes of alleged cartel member Katiso Molefe. We were already hearing before the commission that this is someone who is facing very serious murder charges and two separate matters, although are seemingly linked in the modus operandi upon which they took place, that is the 2022 murder of DJ Somebody, the popular musician. And then, of course, now the hit of Armand Swart outside those offices in Vereeniging. And we're seeing evidence where witness A expressed confusion and almost frustration as to how an individual of this nature, where they had flagged so much information about him that would have supported the, I guess, the ruling that he should not be granted bail, how someone like that was granted bail and then was able to allegedly commit another offense and was was arrested again while out on bail for a previous incident of alleged murder. So we expect that witness B must also give her side of the bail processes and what she understood from the conduct of the various role players in the criminal justice system with respect to those bail processes, against the backdrop of the evidence that high-ranking SABC officials were making concerted efforts to avert the advancement of this investigation, including the evidence of the 3 envelopes which were allegedly initiated or put on the table by Major General Richard Shabiri, who would have been their boss at the time before they had been moved to the intelligence wing, which they both testify they understood as a means of baiting or trying to influence them into taking a bribe in exchange for backing off the investigation against Katiso Molefe. So much more left to unpack, Ayanda, by witness B, but we expect that she'll be wrapping up that testimony today, and then another witness tomorrow, who will be identified as witness C, will come to testify on a similar theme surrounding this alleged interference in the investigations that involve these alleged criminal cartels.